Good morning, everybody. This is Tyson Gabriel with Premier Risk Management. I got John Storm here. John, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. So we wanted to get back to, we've had this video series talking about what we've been doing with this new UV technology. So we concluded our own internal analysis for this with the spore traps, and what we did is, the reason why we use spore traps is because spores are everywhere, and it's a material that's very similar to virus material. And the thought is if this wonderful technology here can knock out spore traps or airborne allergens, it's going to have no problem taking care of a virus. And we'll do another video on those results, but I can tell you this, the results were something that I've never seen before. So they were fantastic. They pretty much, the conference room that we're in right now, there's minimal risk of exposure because our air is being sanitized in a major way multiple times every 15 minutes, which is the direct contact point. So John, as we, one of the things I've done in the past is I've done spore trap analysis in areas that had UV technology in it, but I didn't see these kind of results. Can you talk a little bit more about, and I know in the last video you mentioned a little bit of it, but what's the difference between your technology and standard UV technology that's out there?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. So first of all, these units, the company has patented their technology, which is the only thing in the industry that is patented because the UV industry is unregulated. So many people have a one-size-fits-all mentality. The company totally disagrees with that because it's not effective. How can you protect a 250 square foot room the same as a 1,000 square foot room? So what they do is they call it proprietary measuring. So they have units to fit all different size rooms up to 1,000 square feet. This unit happens to be called the PSF24 unit. It covers up to 400 square feet. The way it works is there's two fans underneath here. Each fan does 105 CFM. I think because there's two on this one, it actually does 230 when it's running full, so 230 CFM. And then the UV is within, so the air gets pulled up, the UV sanitizes it, and then it discharges it back in the room. It does it probably 2 or 3 times a minute on its own, but when it's working within your HVAC system, depending on the efficiency, you could be talking 8-10 times, an hour to cycle all that air. It's a 99.96% kill rate in less than a second in the air, and also less than 3 seconds on surfaces, which independent lab results have verified that. We have that in writing. They have said basically the same thing as Tyson said. They've never seen results like this on anything they've ever tested. The other thing is, these units, we have upper air units, which is PSF's one of. We have a Zone 360, which is a ceiling mounted unit, which covers up to 1,000 square feet. That holds a UV about 6 inches from the ceiling, but it goes 360 degrees, and that covers up to 1,000 square feet. Yeah, those are all the things that are patented and tested. And this is, they're just great inventions.
Yeah, they are. And the thing is when I saw the results, it was funny because I thought it was a trick. I didn't understand. It didn't make sense to me because I'd never seen it. It just totally obliterated any identifiable spores in the air here. So if it's doing that to spores, it's going to easily do that with virus material. Now, when we talk about direct contact within 6 feet of somebody for longer than 15 minutes, that's an exposure point. So when you think about how this can be applied in an industry, what are the limitations for this equipment's application as far as like comparing it to various industries? Is there any limitation?
No,
okay.
None, zero. And the company's also just patented a new mobile device which will be going into vehicles. Right now it's in larger vehicles, passenger trains, cars, buses, first responder vehicles. And they're working on a unit now that is going to go into cars to make people safe. So yeah, I mean, literally we're trying to get it in every industry to make people safe, whether you're shopping, eating, or having a drink at the bar.
See, and that's an interesting thing there too, because as we saw this week, governments around the country start opening their economies back up, but people are still freaked out over this. I was in California, for example, a couple weeks ago, listening to sports talk radio, and they're even talking there that they refuse to go to sporting events. They're going to refuse to go to restaurants. They're going to refuse to go to the store. So even as business owners have the ability to open back up, they still got to curb that fear that's been generated in the public. Right now there's this double mask discussion going on. So again, when we talk about hierarchy of controls, engineering controls such as this is 2 tiers greater of a control than any PPE, including 2 masks. So when we talk about what is the most critical thing you can do for your business to protect people, to protect your employees, install more engineering controls, make sure your HVAC system is operational. I would stand behind this as well. From the results that I saw here in our office, is I would put something like this in there, especially restaurants, bars, wineries, places like that where people are going to accumulate. This has got great application for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, it struck me as the company understands how pathogens are spread. It's how the virus is being spread. Yep. It's through the air. So real quick synopsis, Tyson and I are talking right now, the room's probably 75 degrees. As we're talking, the pathogens are going up. So having an upper air unit to kill it is the ideal thing. Something you set on the floor to kill surfaces, there's no way you're going to get even COVID by surface contamination. It's via the air, it's via being close to each other, which is why the company really has a lot of they're all upper air units, and they have in-air your HVAC system units too. So we're actually looking at a giant equestrian center in Idaho because they want to have competitions again, and if we just put some of the UV into specific spots, mostly enclosed areas because they have an area where you can go and eat like a cafeteria, but then the whole arena itself, if we put these units in their HVAC system, the entire building, and it's a giant building, you've seen it,
yep,
is going to be protected. So everybody in there will be 100% protected.
And what's great here is these guys can implement that system. We can even come in and do this specific scientific analysis for your company as well. That could give you some great promotional information to show your customers when they're walking in. This is how we're keeping our environment safe for you, and you'll have their science and their engineering specs, and you'll have independent science as well that's going to be able to show the public, regulatory officials, things of that nature, that it is a safe environment to operate in and occupy.
And one of the other things on the safety aspect is all these units are 100% safe to be in the same room while it's operating. There's so many out there that you see you have to get out of the room and then it sanitizes and then you come back in the room, which kind of doesn't make sense logically, because when you're in the room is when the viral load is there. When you're out of the room, there's no threat. So these things work, and that's why they're all safe. They're either ceiling mounted or off the ground here. So it's 100% safe for everybody to be around. That's why they're perfect for all hospitality industries. We're really focusing on nursing homes because a lot of the spread in a nursing home isn't because they're within close contact. It's because it's in the air and being cycled through the HVAC system. Because most people are bedridden or limited mobility. That's
a good point.
There. So that's why we're really honing in on that too.
And also 5-year warranty as well. So one of the questions we had from a client was, what's the maintenance like? They have a 5-year warranty on their equipment. So all in all, this is a great opportunity. One of the things that we wanted to make sure that we give clarity on is the relationship that John and Premier Risk Management have. So I'd like to give a little bit of background as to how our relationship formed. John had reached out to me several months ago because he had had success working with risk management firms in Illinois on implementing this system, and so he reached out to us. I reached out back to him, thought it was very interesting, looked at the data, was very excited about it, and that led us down this rabbit hole of putting getting these installed, and then we wanted to do our own independent study to make sure that we were standing with something that does work, and that's why we conducted our sampling. But we want to make sure that people know that we don't have a business relationship. We don't have any kind of financial partnership. We're all independent. But the reason why Premier Risk brought them in is to add to our toolkit. Because one of the things that we want to make sure is that we're providing our clients great recommendations for solutions. And we saw this as, everybody's out talking about PPE and the masking and things of that nature. all of our training has always taught us through the years is that that's not a solution. But engineering controls, when you can enhance those are the solution. And that's why we're interested in talking to John, learning more about their system, implementing the system because we want to practice what we preach, and then testing it. And so everything we've done has been independent, and there's been no financial exchanges or any kind of no deal like that. But if you want to learn more from John about his company and what they're doing, John, would you go ahead and give everyone your information? And
Sure.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to add to what you just
Sure.
said is the other thing we have in common is we want to help people. We want to help businesses stay open, get open, and remain open. We all know that the mandates that have been in place for
Yep.
over a year have been less than effective, judging by the numbers. So this is the tried and true silver bullet per se, because it has all the documentation. We encourage people like Tyson and their groups to test our stuff. Take it out, test it however you want it. We are 100% confident that the same results will happen.
Yep.
So if you want to get a hold of me, you can go through Tyson, or I have one of the largest distributorships for these, and you can reach me at my cell phone. I encourage you to do that. It's 847-309-9403.
Awesome. And for Premier Risk, you can reach us at 800-980-RISK. Again, it's 800-980-RISK. Don would love to talk to you. And if you want to go to our website, it's premierrm.com. premierrm.com. We look forward to meeting with you guys, talking to you, and helping you find solutions to protect you, your employees, and your work environment. Have a great one.